Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I've got a rant for you. I've been trying to figure out how to say this for a little while now, and I think I've finally got it into a meaningful form, but this is mostly going to be a ranty video. I've put some beautiful stuff and some excellent stuff on the screen as eye candy, but you feel free to, shut the window and listen, so to speak, because today I want to talk to you about something that I think is a major problem in the knife market that it feels like no one's talking about. And basically, I want to make the claim that in 2023, excellence is now the lowest bar. Your knife is either excellent or it is subpar. Here's why I think that. Well, to start with, there are thousands of good pocket knives out there in the production world, right? Compared to even when I started in this hobby, like the number of really, truly good stuff out there is huge. Right? That we are in a golden era of knife making, and within those thousands of good stuff, there are hundreds, maybe even thousands of truly excellent knives out there available to people. And what this means is that for any given person, for a given set of needs, for a given market or niche, there generally exists a truly excellent choice. It has been a long time since somebody has come to me and said, these are my specific requirements, and I can't find anything excellent. Usually there's a choice, right? There are certainly exceptions in physical or economic impossibility, right? I want a rust-proof knife that holds an edge forever, that's made in Namibia for under $50. Like, that one's probably not happening, right? But at the same time, for most people, certainly for most mainstream kind of market segments, there is a choice at nearly any budget and in nearly any desire, right? And it's not just a choice, but it's usually an excellent one, because every new release into the knife market is competing with the best of the best, right? This is not boxing. The greats do not retire. They do not get so concussed that they are unable. I'm sorry, that got dark. But still, it is the case that you are going to be up against everything that is still in production and many things that are still readily available on the used market. The competition for a brand new piece is huge. Right? And it is incredible. It is excellent. There exist very few markets in which you releasing a brand new knife are not releasing into a market that has a clear winner, right? And this means that the chance of success, the chance of dethroning that, if you are going to come at the king, you better come right. And as a result, if you're doing this, you really, really need to be excellent. You need to be able to compete in this market. So in 2023, a new release needs to be excellent. And I mean excellent in every meaningful sense, right? Not only does it need to have the basics, right? And I have my excellent pocket knife checklist available in nickshabazz.com/checklist. But nonetheless, everything needs to be excellent in every sense. It needs to be safe. Obviously, duh. Without that, excellence isn't even there. Anyways, I digress. There can be no blade play. There can be no lock rock. It has to be centered. I'm sorry, it's 2023. Everyone's getting those things right. You are not allowed to die. Well, that doesn't matter. Yeah, it does. Stop being lazy. Get it right. Right? There can be no major issues, right? Because you are up against competition with no major issues, right? That is a simple fact. At this point, there is something excellent. You are fighting them. You're not allowed to come in with no, it doesn't work that way, right? But above and beyond that, right? You need to have a great blade that cuts well with a heat treat, that is, and with a steel that is really well good for the budget category. Right? It's well good, right? But you need some, I'm not saying everything needs to be in a super high-end steel, right? I acknowledge different price points but you need to be toward the high end there, right? You need to be in your budget category doing as best as you absolutely can. And I am not, by the way, saying you need to use high-end steels, right? If you write M390 on the blade and then heat treat it to 57 Rockwell, you've done a dumb thing. That is not excellence. Anyways, I digress. But you need to have a good steel because the core of a knife is a blade, and if the blade doesn't cut well, it's not excellent. You need to have decent ergonomics. I ain't saying it has to be perfect, right? There's a roll built for the eye, not the hand, whatever, but it needs to basically work, and the function needs to be functionally good, right? You need to have a good action with easy opening and close. Frankly, you need to have a great action in 2023, right? The design has to make sense, not just like in terms of good lines, good aesthetics, but it has to be usable. It has to make sense, has to carry well, all of these kinds of things, right? And the aesthetics, that can be great. That can be a way you add to the excellence, but at the very least, you can be vanilla. You just need to be damn good at it, right? But the design has to make sense. The price has to deliver excellent value, right? You are going to be up against other things in your price category, and you are not allowed to be overpriced because excellence isn't. Right? You could release the absolute perfect knife for $2,000, and dude, it's $2,000. Why is it perfect? relative to these other things that are also perfect, right? You need to be very careful about that. You need to justify your price point, because if you don't, you're going to be overpriced, and that's going to mean you're not excellent, right? And so whatever value, whatever budget category you're at, you need to deliver the value. That's a part of it. And availability should be straightforward. Now, I know for small makers that can be difficult, right? But do your damnedest, right? And try and avoid the drops, try and avoid the lolly scrambles. Yes, that's a word. Look it up. It describes literally the entirety of the knife market in 2023. Just throwing that one out there. But skip the limited edition stuff. Just sell the damn knife, because you know what is on sale right now from a major retailer? Your competition. And so that's a part of the excellence. And ideally, there needs to be something above and beyond in terms of design, aesthetics, action, value, function. There needs to be something there that makes people go, whoa, because that's a thing that helps you to get past your competitors, right? You're beating excellence here, and one way to do that is extra excellence, right? On the balance, though, it needs to be excellent. And so in 2023, like I said, anything that is not excellent is subpar and probably shouldn't be sold. Now, immediately, I hear some folks in the comments going, oh my God, Nick. And in fact, I've heard some of these comments before in talking with makers, as I'm doing consulting, as I'm just chatting with them, right? But there are a lot of things that people kind of use to justify selling something that they know isn't excellent. I want to talk about some of that, right? To start with, these are things like your marketing team, for instance. A lot of people say, well, no, hold on. It doesn't need to be excellent. It just needs to be well marketed, right? And that is not good, right? That is a danger sign. If the marketers are trying, no. This is a product problem, right? If your marketers can sell a subpar knife, then good for them. Well done. They're going to do great in politics. But at the same time, it doesn't mean they should. Right? Even if you could sell it, it doesn't mean you should sell it, right? This is product problems, fundamentally. You can get away with that briefly, but fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, well, shame on you still, right? Your brand, also. A lot of people, well, no, but this one's mine, right? This is something I designed. And I understand it's very human to say, well, yes, this is mine, though. So that's matters. That makes it different. That makes it excellent. And so it's easy to say that your brand makes excellence not required, right? Or your hand in design is enough, but it isn't. I'm sorry. I appreciate you. I acknowledge that you've put a lot of work into it, but it simply isn't enough, right? You can sell subpar stuff to fanboys. You can sell overpriced stuff to fanboys, but you are burning brand name for short-term gains, right? You will look worse selling something that is not excellent because people go like, oh, well, usually makes great stuff, and then there was that one. And that's sad, right? Speaking of price, your price does not matter more than excellence, right? We are at a point where we can get excellence at damn near any price point, right? On the absolute bottom end, yeah, you can't get excellence. And, well, there are a lot of questions we can ask there. That's another video later. But nonetheless, you can get excellent stuff at pretty much any price point at this point. And, you know, a lot of people are, well, hold on. No, I mean, yeah, it's got some issues, but the price, and you know what you call a subpar knife at a really good price point? A subpar knife. Yeah, it's still crap, unfortunately. And there is somebody out there who is selling not crap at an equivalent price, I guarantee you. And if you make something truly excellent, but you put it at a completely ridiculous price point where it is not justified, where you are not going so far above and beyond to justify, then it means it's not so excellent after all, right? So your price point does not matter more than excellence. Your factory also doesn't matter more than excellent, right? Be transparent. It's important to share that information. Be clear about who you're working with. But at this point, it doesn't matter who's making it, right? Any of these factories can do excellence, and the ones that that aren't doing excellent, well, we're not going to be hearing about them for long anyway, so it doesn't really matter, right? But it doesn't matter who made it at this point, as long as it's, well, excellent, right? And similarly, country of origin is not more important than excellence. Now, hold on. Back up for a second here. I have always said that quality is about effort, not geography, and I maintain that that is true. It is perfectly reasonable for you to say, hey, for many people, this country of origin is a benefit, right? That is a thing that adds value, and therefore my prices are high. That's fine. You can be excellent and use that kind of thing in your calculations, right? But just making something in the U.S. is not enough if it's not excellent, right? There are lots of US-made excellent knives at lots of different price points, right? That is absolutely a thing. Similarly, just saying, oh, this one's made in Canada might not be enough for somebody if what's made in Canada isn't amazing, right? Country of origin matters for a lot of people, right? It's important. It's something we should think about. But it isn't enough to make up for something that isn't great. And of course, materials don't matter more than excellence, right? M390 at 57, or frankly 59 Rockwell, not excellent. I'm sorry, you can do better than that. Mokutai or Damasteel, if you do it badly, isn't worth doing, right? It's not enough. And your experience level, sadly, does not matter more than excellence. Now, this is where it really gets hard, right? Because I understand that for many people, it is their first design, or maybe it's their first of a new kind of lock or something like that, or it's your first piece made with a brand new factory. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? You are still up against the best, right? Whether this is your first time or your last time in the market, and for some places it's both if it's not excellent, you are still up against the best of the best, right? Whether this is your first knife or your last one, it doesn't matter. You have the same competition, so you have to make it good. It has to be excellent. You do not, unfortunately, get any kind of, for some people, oh, well, it's his first knife. It's okay, sure, whatever. Oh, well, she's starting something new. For a lot of people, it just needs to be excellent. So keep working till it's excellent, right? Talk to people in the community, do pass-arounds, work with consultants, right? Get it right or don't do it. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time no matter your experience level, no matter where you're coming into this. At this point, I'm sorry, there is just no excuse to drop something into the market that is not excellent, period. Right? If you are thinking of a price bracket for a new piece you're releasing, go buy the best stuff in that price bracket and then explain how your piece is as good or better. And if it isn't, go back to the drawing board and make it that way, right? If you cannot make something excellent, then just iterate until you do. Right? And I get that things happen, that good models have bad production, right? Or, oh, the factory screwed this up. Well, okay, sure. This means you need to fix the problem. You need to make it right for the customers who bought the first round, and then you need to iterate until the piece is excellent, right? But don't put good materials into bad knives. Don't waste the time and the money of your consumers, your factory, your marketers, your most dedicated fans. Don't waste all of it by dropping something that you know from the start is not excellent. Excellence is the lowest bar. And some of you are thinking, well, Nick, okay, sure, that's a lot, but why does this actually matter? You're just a YouTuber. Well, but this hurts companies, right? Everybody, thought experiment, exercise. Think of a company that drops some truly excellent knives in a steady stream of subpar crap. Okay. That's, 10 of them that immediately come to mind, right? There are a lot of brands like this, unfortunately, who do release amazing stuff. They have the capability to create excellence, but they generally don't, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like those companies are wasting everybody's time and money. As a YouTuber, it doesn't make sense. And these are some of the companies I've kind of fired, where it's just like, you know what, I'm sorry. No, it's not worth my time to look at your next email announcing 16 models that you're going to discontinue in 6 months because they were crap anyways, right? I'm sorry, that's a waste of everybody's time. And if some of the major production houses had a better filter, they only released designs that were fully cooked, that were truly excellent, they would be in a wildly better position in our market, right? A company that releases 3 incredible new pieces a year is much more worthy of our respect when they don't release 30 subpar ones, right? So, I mean, the folks I tend to respect most in the industry tend to release the fewest models, right? And focus on iterating and improving the models they have and making sure they're widely available. And then when they have the capacity to do something else that is excellent, they do that rather than just spamming us with model. Hey, let's get an influencer to take a look. Oh my God, those people drive me up a freaking But anyway, so there is so much more respect available to you by making a few things really well rather than spamming the world with crap, dropping a bunch of different models, none of which are worth a damn, or maybe one of which is, and mostly on the balance being a person who makes crappy knives and gets lucky on occasion, right? And for what it's worth, this is not just an issue for new companies, right? I have watched well-respected companies drop new high-end models with substantial flaws, and I have watched their reputations catch fire. Going from brand new hotness to radioactive. The entire brand, people are like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to buy from them again. Because some damn bean counter said, oh, well, it's time to ship. Yeah, it's got some issues, but we'll adjust the price. No! Bad freaking plan. I'm sorry, but absolutely not. Right? When the product people get overruled and crappy stuff ships, then the brand gets associated with crap. And so as a result, I have seen companies seriously hurt themselves in this way. And frankly, it just kills me when I look out at the world right now and see really good, excellent pieces out of stock or discontinued, while the same company is wasting production capacity, that is, on stuff that nobody in their right mind will buy. Like, oh, well, we've killed this really good design, but here's 15 milk toast button locks for you. Like, hey, thank you. No, make the damn things that are good. Right? I am so sorry. But anyways, this is a big problem for companies out there, and it's a big problem for consumers too. Right? Excellence is out there, but we are currently in the knife market in 2023, July, I guess, of 2023. We are awash in a miasma of mediocrity. And this is because I think there are so few companies that respect themselves enough to say, no, this isn't our best work. Let's just scrap this model. Right? I would love nothing more than to hear companies say, you know what? Let's skip this thing, right? Let's make 1,000 more of our very best models so it comes back in stock, rather than making 1,000 of this new 20-minute design that somebody just came up with, and what the heck, maybe it'll sell, and if it doesn't, we'll discontinue. No, this is spam. This is just crap, right? It is the equivalent of ChatGPT output, except, yeah. I mean, can you imagine how much nicer the knife world would be if the crap tap just got turned off for a month? Right? I mean, opening Instagram, like a quarter of the new models that I see have severe invisible design flaws, right? And I'm probably being grumpy here. Well, I'm definitely being grumpy, but at the same time, it is very, very common. I see a new model and it's just like, oh, that's going to cut you when it's closed. The button lock is sticking up way above the handle there. That's going to open in your pocket, right? Oh, you just made a gravity knife. Interesting, right? Not like an actual freaking gravity knife, but like a one that somebody doesn't think. Anyways, I digress. So a quarter of the new models have severe invisible design flaws. A quarter is so vanilla and boring, they feel like ChatGPT designs, right? It's the equivalent of freaking hotel art out there in the world. And worse still than that, another quarter are overseas-made factory knives from well-known designers that look great, but that are selling for a price that had better include $200 bills in the box. Right? Can you imagine how much nicer the knife world would be if that stopped? Right? If companies said, you know what, we should not drop this model. It's really not that great. Let's focus instead on this one that is. Let's make a new variant of something that already exists and is amazing. Can you imagine how much better the world would be there? The signal-to-noise ratio right now is abysmal, and everybody is just shouting louder and louder and getting more influencers on board to try and make their next subpar piece seem interesting, when in reality they just need to make better pieces. And none of them are interesting because they're all way below the bar, which in 2023 is excellence. And I know what you're thinking, Nick, this is really harsh, and yes, it is. I'm sorry, right? And I've tried to find a way to sugarcoat this to make it sound pretty and nice, and it's gatekeeping too. Well, we're criticizing, right? But I'm not the one setting the rules here, right? I'm telling you what the market is like. You are more than welcome as a knife company to release as much subpar crap as you would like, right? This is your right. By all means, but no one is going to give a crap about you after a while, and those who do give a crap are probably going to be in the wrong direction. Probably start giving you crap, and that's different, right? But anyways, it's also harsh because I think people need to hear it. So I am so tired of being the bad guy, in that so many times I get something in for consulting as a stealth review, so to speak, from a brand new maker or maybe even from an existing one. And it just breaks my heart because it is just nowhere near excellent, the piece that comes in, and they think that it's going to dethrone the PM2 and the Shabazz at the same time, right? People are going to pick this up and go, oh my God, I've forgotten about every other possible. When in reality, no. They're actually charging $300 for something with major issues built by freaking Rayon, right? And I have to be the person that goes, I'm so sorry, but no, this doesn't work. And I'll sit down and I'll say to them, like, okay, fair enough, you've got this here. Explain how this is competing with X, Y, and Z at the same price point. And they look at me, all surprised Pikachu, like, well, don't know. It's not supposed to. Well, yeah, it's gonna. So there you go. You have to do that, right? And, to be clear, I get excellent designs too, and those are lovely. That's a nice surprise. And very often the makers are able to take that kind of feedback, as well as feedback they're getting from their core fans, from friends, from knowledgeable folks in the community, and make revisions. And then it becomes excellent, and then it does compete. Then it's a wonderful thing, and they do fine. But it is so, so sad when people are dropping something that is just not excellent. It's like, oh, you're going to be sitting on 1,000 of these in 2 years, and it's going to be sad, right? And so, judging by the state of the market, though, a lot of people are just in the mindset of, ship it, we're good, right? Oh, yeah, I'll just get one prototype from the factory, and then it'll probably be fine, right? It's a new brand. People will give me credit. Nope, they won't. I'm sorry, it's over, right? You're just going to have a really bad freaking time. So, yes, this is harsh. Yes, this is a little gatekeepy. Yes, the market is incredibly difficult for brand new designers to break into, but that's the nature of the beast, and I'm just sort of the one saying it out loud. And then, of course, people get a little defensive. Well, why don't you make a knife then, Mr. Excellence? Well, the answer to this is because I can't make anything excellent, right? Do you think the thought has never occurred to me to make a knife? Do you think I've never sat down with a drawing tablet, tried to work something up in CAD? Do you think this isn't the thing? Do you think I don't get offers regularly? Of course I've thought about it. Of course I've looked at it. Of course I've drawn stuff up, but I can't design even mediocrity, right? I am a food critic, not a chef. I've said this for years, but I cannot make something excellent, and therefore I don't make anything. I respect myself in the market too much to drop something subpar. I could just, fling something out there, slap a gem on it and cash in, but I'm not freaking gonna, because it's not excellent and the lowest bar is excellence. So at least if I'm being a dick, I'm being the same dick to myself. So knife makers, it's 2023. There are two kinds of knives. There are excellent knives and there are subpar knives. And so I ask, I beg, I plead of you. Ask yourself, and ask a set of knowledgeable people. Ask your fans. Ask an interest group, something. Ask other folks in the industry, hey, is this excellent? And if the answer is something other than, oh my God, yes, then go back to the drawing board, right? And iterate, improve, make it better. And maybe that design can never get there, in which case it's time for design number 2. But make sure that you iterate until the answer is, oh yes, this is excellent. Because if you do that, and if you just nip at the bud things that aren't excellent, your brand will be better. Your work will be more competitive. Your customers will become way more loyal, and the entire knife world will improve as a result. So anyways, it's 2023. Excellence is the lowest damn bar. And I'm not, please. Anyway, so there you go. That was my very jaded rant. I hope that you thought it was excellent, and failing that, well, probably shouldn't have made the video. But anyways, hope this has been interesting to you, and that you have yourselves just an absolutely excellent rest of your day. Bye now.